Divi Nation, thank you for joining us in this live stream. Today we'll show you how to add corner labels to menu items inside your Divi header, so your global header or your custom header, and we'll also use the Tutor Layout Pack. So if you haven't checked that out yet, make sure that you do. I've mentioned a link in the description below, and if you're non-elegant themes member yet, make sure that you check out Divi. I've mentioned a link to the product page where you can go ahead and discover everything for yourself. So without any further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so let's start off by taking a quick look at the layout pack, which we'll use within this live stream tutorial. So the header that we'll build will match the Tutor Layout Pack really well. So if you go to elegantthemes.com/layouts, you will be able to see all of the different layout packs that come with Divi for free, and we add new layout packs every week for you guys to use and get started with it. So if you go to elegantthemes.com/layouts and you search for Tutor, you'll be able to see all of the different layouts that come with this layout pack, and you can view the live demo of each layout and then use it within Divi. Now within this live stream tutorial, we're going to design a global header that matches this layout pack really well, and we'll also add some corner labels to certain menu items inside the Divi theme builder. So over here you can see a preview on desktop. Over here we have two different types of labels. One is featured and the other one says new. And these will just help you emphasize certain menu items. So instead of using a button, for instance, as one of the menu items, you can also decide to emphasize existing menu items by placing labels like this. Now, smaller screen sizes, we have a slightly different outcome. So if I click on this over here, you can see the label appearing right next to the menu item. So we'll recreate this using Divi, some custom CSS, and the modules that come with Divi. Now over here I have a global header already. So this is the one that I've created to show you guys before we get started. And I also have another template over here. So this template is enabled on this page where the default navigation is currently going on, but we'll replace that with the exact same outcome as here by going through everything step by step. All right, let me just take a quick look to see if people are joining in. And I do want to mention that if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on YouTube or on Facebook, and I will be checking on those to see if you guys have any questions throughout the tutorial. Now let's get started. Over here, I'm going to go to the Divi theme builder, and I have this template going on, but you guys will probably use it as a global template, so feel free to use it for any kind of header that you design. Now in this case, it will be a custom header, but again, feel free to use it however you please. Now, before we get started with the Divi theme builder, we'll need to add some labels to existing menu items, and to do that, we're going to go to the appearance over here in menus. All right, so if you haven't created a menu up until this point, you should. And in this instance, we'll use it as a primary menu. And you can feature all of the different menu items you want within your menu. And then you can pick two or more. Actually, you can decide how many labels you want. But if you want to create one for a featured menu item and one for a new menu item, you can pick two of them and add a label in front of the actual menu item title. So over here we have services, and then in front of it we're going to place a label, HTML tag, and these will have two classes. So in between those tags you can find the title of our corner label. In this case, that's featured, and something that's really important is assigning those two CSS classes. Now if you want to grab this instead of reading it off the screen, you can always go to the blog post, which is mentioned in the description below, and over there you can just copy it and make it work on your own website. So the first corner label needs to have two CSS classes. One says menu label, and the second class says featured label. Now in between these classes, you'll need to leave a space. And over here we have another label. So this one is for the label called new. This is also differently styled within the Divi theme builder. If I go back over here, you can see that they slightly differ. And again, you'll need to place that before the title of your menu item, which is free courses in this case. So you'll place these HTML tags, closing of the label and the beginning of the label tag. And in between, you'll place the copy that you want to show up. So this doesn't necessarily have to be featured or new, but these are often used in the world of web design to highlight a certain menu item, but you can place anything you want as long as you keep it short and sweet, so it fits the container of your menu item. So preferably just one word. Now this label also needs two CSS classes. The first one is the same as the previous one. The previous label had, so it's called menu label, and then we'll add another class, so a different class from the featured label over here. Instead of featured, we'll use new label. All right. So once you have that in place, make sure that you save all the changes you made over here in the top right corner before moving on to the Divi theme builder. All right, so let's get started with the Divi theme builder right now. So I'm gonna go to Divi theme builder. And again, here I have my template for this particular page where the default navigation is still going on. And over here, I'm going to click on Add Custom Header and Build Custom Header. As usual, you get three options when creating a new template or page. We're going to pick the first one that says Start Building, because we'll build this from scratch. Now over here, you'll notice a section that's already there. Before adding any rows or modules, we'll open these section settings, and we're going to use a custom background color, as you can see in the preview over here. So this kind of darker color that matches the Tutor Layout Pack well. Then we'll go to the spacing settings in the design tab, and we'll remove all default top and bottom padding by adding 0 pixels to both options. And something really important as well is setting the overflows to visible within the visibility settings over here. So what this will do is it will allow us to have this kind of overlap between the header and the page content. If that were set to default, it would go, it would hide starting from the point that the page content takes over. So we don't want that. That's why we're putting it to visible. All right. And now we can add a row. So we'll use a row with one column. And before adding modules, I'm going to open the row settings, and I'll use a white background color for my row. Then I'll go to the design tab, and over here in the sizing settings, I'm going to enable custom gutter width and put this to 1. So this will just help us remove default space between modules that we'll add later on. So we'll need 2 modules in total. One will be the menu module, and the other one will be the code module, which will help us style the labels later on. All right. Now over here in the spacing settings, we'll add some padding. So we'll use 25 pixels for the top and the bottom, and 50 pixels for the left and the right side. Then we'll go to the border settings, and we'll add 6 pixels to each one of the corners. We'll also use a subtle box shadow over here. So this will just help us over here. If you can notice it, it will help us make a difference between the menu and the page content, and it highlights the menu just a little bit more. So we'll choose this first option over here, and then we'll modify the vertical position to 16 pixels. And we're also going to make this box shadow a little bit more subtle by dragging this down. So you can choose how heavy you want. I'll just go with this shadow color, and again, you can find all of the color codes, all of the steps, the HTML tags that we added in the first part of this tutorial, and the CSS code that we'll use within the blog post, which is mentioned in the description below. Now, to create that kind of overlap between the row and the section, we'll use Divi's built-in transform options. So let me go over here, and the option that we're looking for is transform translate. First, we'll detach these two options from each other by, unlinking them. And then over here, we'll just add 50 pixels. So you can see that overlap taking place right there. And because of the fact that we've added around the corners, the default overflow state of the row is hidden, which we don't want on smaller screen sizes, because that would mean that once someone clicks on the hamburger icon, the drop-down menus won't appear. So it's really important to go to the visibility settings over here and set both options to visible. So this won't make a direct difference on first sight, but it's really important. All right, now we can add our modules. So again, we'll use 2 modules in total. One will be the menu module, which we'll start off with. Let me just add it over here. And of course here you'll have to select your menu that you've modified in the first part of this tutorial. So if you have multiple menus, so on my website, for instance, I only have one, so it automatically selects it. But if you have multiple menus going on, you'll need to select the right one. And then we'll also add a logo. Let me just grab this icon, for instance. And then I'm going to style the menu text settings. So we're using BT Sans. So these settings match the Tutor Layout Pack really well. We're going with that kind of design style, but you're free, of course, to modify these however you want. We'll use a black text color. We'll increase the text size to 16 pixels. And we'll also use right text alignment. Now over here in the drop-down menu settings, we're going to change the color of our drop-down menu line. So let me just grab that color code really quick. So this will again just match the color palette of the Tutor Layout Pack. All right, and we'll also change the hamburger menu icon color over here to that same color code. And in the sizing settings, we'll just tweak the max width to 40%. So this is how our menu looks like. So this is how it looks up until now. And you can see the labels over there. To style those labels, we've added those CSS classes in the first part of the tutorial, the labels and the CSS classes. And now to make it simple, we're going to style those labels using some CSS code. And we'll add that directly within our header template over here by just adding a code module right below the menu module. And let me just grab it really quick. So we're using responsive code that changes the position on smaller screen sizes. So as soon as you add it, you can see the difference. And the nice thing about working within the Divi theme builder to also add some CSS changes is seeing them come true right within the Divi builder. So you'll be able to tweak everything and see it happen right away instead of having to constantly refresh. So what we've basically done with the CSS code over here, let me just explain it really quick. So the important parts of it. Over here, we have this going on for both labels. So some basic CSS properties that help us to style it. And then we change the background color for each one of the different labels. We'll also add some padding. These are just some things that were necessary to make it fit well with the menu items. Important to include, but they don't really have to do anything with the styling. And over here, we'll reposition the menu labels on smaller screen sizes. So this means that we're making it absolute on desktop and relative on smaller screen sizes, so it'll appear on the right side instead of the top. But you're free to play around with all of these settings and just see how it turns out, and you can modify the style of the labels here, and just, you know, get creative with it. Some things this label already inherits from the menu item, so that's also nice to keep in mind, but you can also override them with some other CSS lines. All right, let me just save this and refresh my page over here so you guys can see it. I'll just need to, since this is a new header, I'll need to save all theme builder changes as well for it to be activated. So if I refresh right now, we have these labels over here, and this is the outcome of smaller screen sizes. All right, let me just take a quick look at the comment section to see if you guys have any questions. See that you are all following along, but I don't see any questions. So, all right, that was it for this live stream. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and we hope that you're enjoying this ongoing Divi design initiative where we try to put something extra into your design toolbox each and every week. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one. Bye.